hello mga beautiful and handsome parts, lalo na sa mga kaibigan nating IPs dyan. Hello sa inyong lahat. At sa lahat ng mga nanood ng previous episode namin, thank you so much. Keep the likes, comments, and shares coming up mga kapatid. Alright, at kayong mga parts, meron ba kayong usapang legal? Lalo na pagdating sa ating ancestral domains.
May ganun.
Ang bigat. Ayan, pag-uusapan natin yan. Kaya samahan ninyo kami ngayong araw na ito, okay? At tatalakayin natin yan, lalo sa mga kaibigan naming IPs dyan.
Ako po ang inyong parts Kent at siya po ang ating parts si
Tego. Para sa panibagong episode ng Taraki Talks.
Ayan, so sa nasabi nga ng ating parts na si Brendel, ngayon ay pag-uusapan naman natin ang legal. Ayan. So before anything else, I would like to introduce muna our guest for today.
Yes.
So isa siyang graduate ng law sa St. Louis University. Medyo kinakabahan ng konti.
Yes.
Pero magandang itatanong natin mamaya.
Ayan naman.
Ayan, tapos former state solicitor of the Office of the Solicitors General. Ayan. And then former member din siya ng NCIP Task Force, as well as former director of NCIP Caraga and CAR as well. O diba? Nagsabay.
Oo nga eh, grabe.
Ayan. Former director of NCIP Legal Affairs Office din, and spokesperson of National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict. Ayan. Former spokesperson. Oo, mabigat din yun. Ayan. Pero ngayon, he is currently having his private practice as a lawyer.
Ayan.
Ang hobbies po niya ay pag-inom ng kape. Ayan.
Part of life dito, no, igurot ka. Kanya habit.
So, mga parts namin at mga katarakis, let us all welcome Attorney Marlon Pudong Bosantog. Ayan. Good afternoon, sir.
Salamat Kabsat, salamat parts, no? Or Kabsat parts naimbag ngagsapat tayo or malam tayo amin, no? Mapmapteng ay masdam ta ko amin. To my fellow Colilierans, no, to fellow Igorots, and to the rest of the indigenous peoples of the Philippines. It's my pleasure and it's my privilege, no, to be here.
Alo, grabe. Kinabahan na naman ako dun sa pleasure and privilege. Okay. Anyways, thank
Siyempre,
you so
dati
much.
pressure naman kanya organize ni Manang Christine, eh.
Hi, hello po.
Oo, shout out kay Manong Christine. At meron siyang tanong para mamaya. Ayan. Abang-abangan natin yan. Anyways, tanong ko lang po, saan po ang roots natin, parts?
I was born and raised, no, in the it's not really hinterland, so Jayqua. Dito'y Bugyas. My father is from Bagnin, Baoco Mountain Province. My mother is from Bugyas Benguet. Sinipsip Bugyas Benguet, no?
Boundary yan, di ba?
When lang. I was born and raised in the gardens, no. Mo talagang ko tayo jay patatas kinripoli dagita ti trabaho tayo di.
Ay
po. Bagnin. Nagkapo tayo di ba?
Ay oo, kaling tayo doon.
No taga ko ngamin, no the way it was spelled is Bagnin.
Yeah, but we say it as
Bagnin.
Bagnin. So medyo naulaw kami.
Bagnin.
Bagnin.
Nag-away pa kami sa sasakyan. Ano mga talaga?
Ayan, so it's nice to know din na Manong is from Benguet.
Yes.
And then he was raised din doon sa Bugyas.
I attended my elementary in high school at Sinipsip Elementary in Sinipsip National High School.
Oy, shout out sa mga teachers na dyan. Manang Christine, ka-age mo. Okay.
Bakit ganan? Uy, by the way, ang patutunguhan ng usapan natin ngayon ay about indigenous peoples.
Yes.
And I've heard na ang indigenous peoples in the Philippines ay 101, sir. Tama
Yes,
ba?
Major groups.
Major groups.
There's a lot of sub-majors, but major groups 101 yung identified and truly validated. Because there are some claims na meron pang iba, hindi pa siya na-validate. Okay, so baka lumaki pa siya.
Ano ba yung process para ma-validate ng isang group ay isang indigenous?
I think there has to be an application or a study or a finding by the NCIP. Tapos, idadaan siya sa parang academic discussion din eh. Kung ano yung history, yung culture, or are you situated sa yung ancestral domain. So it takes a lot of documentation before one can classify it as a major indigenous peoples group, no? Ang tawag sa atin ngayon dyan is ICC, no? Indigenous Cultural Communities.
Indigenous cultural
Unta
community.
madidagti ko di kasla tribo or katutubo because of the certain negative connotation that some people
naman.
so nga ti panang ti proper kanu tatanga dati kasla political correctness na kat ICC.
ICC pala.
Indigenous Cultural Communities.
Okay, ulitin natin. Indigenous Cultural Communities. ICC. Ay, ang ganda.
Tapos yung NCIP naman ay National Commission on Indigenous Peoples.
Indigenous Peoples.
Okay.
Diba? Wala lang. Pa-introduction lang. Indigenous Peoples, ay yung Indigenous Peoples muna, right?
Oo. Yes. Pero bago tayo pumunta pa lalo dyan, no?
Oo.
Kasi parang na-amaze lang ako sa lahat ng mga achievements ni Parts Marlon.
Of course.
Parang, paano kaya siya napunta doon? Was it something that you dreamed of doing? Or was it something na passionate ka noon?
Dito sa ano when when I grow up ay nga nag-abogado kanya.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nasadot ka nga farming.
Ganun ba yun?
Well, eskwela ka kit dito, dito ka awan maganab mo. Ang kamot nga bunag ti Repolyo, ang kamot nga bunag ti Abono. So, impapati mo ti manda makin ina nga ako apas kulan dayay ko datayo. So, impapati mo no. But when I was contemplating whether going to private practice or government, I think I was raised in this particular sense of culture about community. It's all about the community. So I decided to enter government practice. The OSG ngamin is the only law firm of the government that handles all the government, the cases of the government. So handang mabal nga galat ti private lawyers kana.
Yes.
Talagang may lang ti client team and that is the Republic of the Philippines, no.
So, yung first job mo talaga is already in the government?
Yeah, so
Oh.
so Jay, magbayad tatayong task force in CIP.
Oo.
Hindi na pa na Jay, one of the agencies that I handle is in CIP, no. So
Agad. Agad.
nakita ka tapos kung na di ba taga Cordillera ka? Di ba IP ka?
Woy.
I-handle mo dito eh. So I was able to handle cases from Batanes down to Davao, no? In Palawan, our case in Baguio, Benguet na kita. That was
North to South.
For the record nga, dalawa yung hawak niya last year.
Yes.
Yes, Car
Caraga
and
and
Caraga.
Caraga.
Ngar. Wala lang.
Manong ko nga nya nagana ni Jay. Syempre before kayo nga naging lawyer, you also had some previous work then before becoming a lawyer. Meron ba?
Actually, adda, but while studying law. But after graduation, awan mo kit parang diretso eh. But while I was studying, kasi most of my time I was a working student. One of my initial job, no? Kat accessibility billiards.
Ay!
Di tayo magsaysay.
Ay, oh.
Tapos lang nga mo kita.
Parang nadako din ako sa
Tapos, diyan nga tumikat Starlight.
Ay,
Ay,
Di ba ba?
Time you, right? Time you.
idadamay ko si Direk.
Nagsit-sitrok, Jay.
Ay, grabe
Diba?
din na.
Kasi talaga no working student. You were also a working student, right?
Yes. Oo naman, na-experience ko din. Pero iba kasi yung work niya. Taga-set ng pool.
How would you compare your life before and then now that you're a lawyer?
Yes.
Awan mo kit diti major difference because mapangkalata Jay balay da amam kininam. You're not even treated as a lawyer, no?
Right.
Ano, mapangkagbalsig ko anda, mapan mo kasi kaliti patatas kasi kumboy kalata. So, but I think that what really sets us apart from probably the mainstream society, no? Numapanta ayan yung balayo, what really dictates us our cultures and traditions, no? Our respect to our elders, our respect to our traditions. Lagi Jay.
Diba? So,
You understand because you're from Atok in Kibungan. Kapay numapang ka Jay, siyakat abogado.
Amo,
We usually don't like being acknowledged that
Yes.
way.
Kababain ka na tayo.
Ano, gusto mo, ibagbaga ko na. Yung mga ganun.
no niya Jay aramidom idi isulat ta nga na idi nagbayin ka man nga lawyer or
Yes.
whatever profession it is niya.
Naman, totoo yun. I can attest to that.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, ano, di ba nag-start ka na to work as a lawyer sa government, ano yung first case na nahawakan mo noon? Interesting yun eh.
First case probably nullity. I think the very first case, no? Kat nullity of marriage nga dati ket nga
Agpaanan.
when Jeta nullity nga there are three parties, the husband, the wife, and the government. Tayo so tinangita ti lisensya ka di gobyerno. So we must see to it the reason for the kuwakat it is really within the context of the law. But I think one of the major cases that I handled probably is the impeachment of the former Chief Justice. I was a part of the legal team that handled the cases before the Supreme Court.
Ang bigat pala nung nahawakan ni...
How was the experience there, sir?
Kasi
Working with other lawyers?
that time I'm still a young lawyer, no? So my ability to learn from the experience of the laklakay nga seniors lawyers, ability da maalam to that for me is a learning experience talaga. Kasi high level na yung kalaban mo is kunada nga di kampanilya, no? Who's who in the Philippines list of lawyers, no? So,
and now it has led you to being appointed as the national Director of NCIP Legal Affairs Office.
Dahil ngamin, after 9 years at the Office of Solicitor General, always handling the IP causes, no? At makita mo nga, apay nga nagkastoy yung problema, it could have been prevented from the early one, it's always been like that. So, when I had the opportunity to engage with the chairperson of the NCIP, I can feel that he has this particular, kasi lang talaga mangilaban. Tapos history na nga nilablaban ti IP causes ko na, maybe it's something that I can also do. So, I applied, I was given the opportunity and privilege to be a part of NCIP. So, it's more of, not really a career move, but it's more of siguro it's time for me to pay back. Kasi yun.
And for the causes naman ng ating IPs. Ay, grabe. So, eto na nga, nandito ka na sa NCIP. Ano yung pinaka-grave or common na lang na, grave na na-encounter ninyo ng cases ng IPs?
Killings, no?
Killings,
no?
Parang isupay lang matlang hindi gana.
When it's not as pronounced, no? But when I had the opportunity to work at Caraga kasi is one of the financial capital of the CPP-NP in there. And when I was the spokesperson of NP,
financial capital meaning to say
pag-alalaan dati kwarta. Wanta nagado ti mining companies.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dati nagado nga mining companies si industries nga pagbubling extortion level. When I was there, I was presented with a lot of victims, no? Agsangsangit na nga may baga we asked for justice, no? Kasi ni dato nga kastoy, ni bae nga kastoy, leaders na kat pinatay ti NPA. Because most of the ancestral domain are considered as the guerrilla bases. So di paglamlam manganda. And no kaswa yung tumaray dan to da nga may kihalubilo, tahan da nga matiliw. And if no sika nga IP leaders kat pagit kita makasya nga may exploit committee tendencies lumaban ka .
Yes, of course.
No lumaban ka, patay na ka. This one of the concept nga kunada nga kill one, terrify 1,000. Diba? So, when they execute this one leader, they do it publicly and openly. So, ngayon, the mga leaders, aghandang yung
Oh my God.
Okay. So,
this is where I read this. Those who desire genuine peace for this country, our works, while many and arduous, to be silent is not one of them. Karapatan and like organizations have betrayed the people and brought countless death before the door of our republic. This is the truth, and the truth does not need an award to be true. So this is where
this one kasi ang CPP-NP-NDF operates in many level. Number one, the armed component, and then the legal fronts, no? In one of the legal fronts, for example, karapatan members moonlight, no? As sasabihin nila pag nahuli ka, human rights worker. And recently, they were awarded for human rights cause. So that's where the quote came from, because naka-insulto nga . Namin nga nakatiliw dati karapatan workers kung nga kami karapatan workers kami tapos inpakita mo yung video na agtitrenda. Actually, I have one case, no, a writ of amparo case that I defended before the Court of Appeals. Ito yung natiliw nga ubing piman, is 22 years old, editor-in-chief. Ito may isang publication jay Kwana. Natiliw isuna, actually nga natiliw, nag-surrender. Nag-surrender isuna, tapos alalan nga, dagiti group nga karapatan, dagita. Tako na data is just a peasant organizer, dito human rights worker. Nung inpakita mo dyan video, actual nga training na, binitawan dan. Awan isunan, kasla nausar dan awanan. And recently, they were awarded, for example, Karapatan was awarded an award for human rights, no? So that really is ano for me. That
I know.
is where the quote came in.
Ay, grabe. Oo nga, na-enlighten na ako talaga.
Kasi gaya magpaisulti palaka din yan.
Actually, no, before I became the spokesperson of NTF-ELCA,
Mm.
I actually also believe in organizations like Kabataan.
Oo.
Yes.
And then, kasi iso dati, kanahin nga dati,
Process
when we commiserate as Cordillerans, no? Because we talk about Chico Dam, these are the, di ba?
When?
But, kung na i general nga na pa yung office, it's easy for you to say that you have to give me evidence. So, ipanis natin may isang rebel, I interviewed, once not enough, nalaka nga makutyan nita. Nagdala iso natin sa nga pulo. Siya, kaslamistik naman sorry.
Okay.
And then I was able to interview more than 1,000 former rebels, 100 former rebels, and more than 1,000 indigenous peoples affected by this war. This is a reality. That's why on my end, no, I lead the filing of disqualification case against Gabriela, against Kabataan, filing of murder, rape, child abuse against these organizations. No, so that was had been my work for the last 2 years before I resigned.
Isa pa nga sa nabasa ko is yung sa Cebu, case ng IP's children din sa Cebu.
Yes.
Oh.
Sir, if for example ganyan pa rin yung situation.
Pards.
Sorry.
Pards. Ikaw
Pards. Abay, di bigla automatic.
Natakot ka agad. Okay.
Manong, I just want to clarify lang about the IPRA, the Indigenous Peoples
yes.
Rights Act.
When?
Anyanagan na di Jai, is this being ano ba yung term dapat doon? Mas lang,
The awareness.
yeah, a bit of awareness. Kung mausaran ba dahil para ti indigenous people, something like that?
Yes, actually, this one of the advocacy of the parties when we were having the convention, for the longest time in Mindanao, especially in Mindanao, Punada, we had been treated as a squatter of our own land. Because there is no mechanism to recognize ancestral domain. So, dagita DNR, dagita DAR, they don't recognize the ownership of the IPs. So, no kunadang adati government project, they keep being pushed to the mountains. In this, also here in the Cordilleras, except for Benguet probably, I think around 90% meron na tayong title.
Yes.
But in the Cordilleras, ano pa lang ti issue nga kasta. So, the IPRA has been the mechanism for us to be recognized as the owners of our own lands.
That's the ancestral domain.
That is the ancestral.
Na until now, we keep on fighting for
Right.
it.
Yes. Because every time sa budget, yung group ng CPP-NPA, they want to abolish NCIP and they want to abolish IPRA. Nagkaroon ng peace talks between the government and them in the CPP-NPA, and one of the demand is for them to abolish IPRA and abolish NCIP.
Yes. Naman.
No way.
Yes. Sa Valley Piman, gamit perspective dyan Mindanao, when it comes to the IP struggles, no? Dito EnTako, majority in the Cordilleras are Igorots, no? At least 90 to 95%, even the land ownership, ijaykat sa Valley. Dito nga we're talking about right to self-determination, self-autonomy. Ajay, leaders tayo, isubot IP damat laang. Ijay sa Valley Piman. Sa Valley Piman.
Kaya grabe din naman yung
The level of their struggle is an inspiring story to all of us.
Wow. Grabe.
We have documented more than 2,000 IP leaders in Mindanao that were killed by the CPP-NPA.
Like for years.
Yes.
Oh, God. Sorry.
Going back naman dun sa...
Masyadong heavy ba?
Pero I just, knowing all these things, it should bring us to an awareness naman din. Lalo na sa mga kaibigan nating IPs.
I think you're being an IP yourself, you can immediately relate kasi. So when I say I don't have to explain.
Right.
Yeah, because I think you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah. Rar. Okay. Ay naman. Hindi kasi meron tayong isa sa national news or napunta siya sa mainstream news pala, sorry. Yung issue tungkol kay Apo Wangod.
Ayun.
Yes. And this happened during your time as the NCIP director. Ano na yung naging development natin doon?
Kasi tikas ito in kastada, napandalang ijay. Tapos kunada, we want to use the art of Apo Wangod, and Apo Wangod will teach in an online academy.
Oh.
So, there's nothing wrong with that, especially if consent from the community in Wapumangod were taken. That's also a promotion for culture. So, we should not stand. Di na pan kami kunada, dagita ngamin tattoo designs are owned by the Kalinga community. It does not belong to Apuangod herself. But the imagery probably of Apuangod, the techniques probably belong to her, no? Di dinamag mi ni Apuangod kunana, apay na ibaga kalinga si kakat ag isuro ka. Iti may isang online platform. But awan tayo mok tigasta, una na. And then when we ask also the community kunada, abay kayat yung nga ag-isurong ni Apuangod jay online, accessible to millions and millions of viewers.
Yes.
At kunada kat haan siguro kasi no agbalin nga generic to jay art of tattoo design.
Awan.
What would impel the next generation to learn it?
Exactly.
And then what happens to our tourism industry no kasi mapasamak. But I think especially on the cultural preservation, anya mapasamak, dito ikot agbalin nga generic.
So there's no community consultation pala.
So what we did was I wrote a letter to them, stop it, don't show it. But immediately nag-commit ng kasi if you will show it, we'll file a case against you.
Yes.
In fairness to them, in-stop na nga dagos sa academy. And then nagkaroon ng negotiation until we asked him to go to the community using the customary laws, apologize, and receive what penalty is given to you. But na-penalize the payment, I think two pigs in one cow. So I think that was the last development na pan kami jay kasla dati apology and then they paid their penalty.
At least it's all settled na, no? And it has been clarified, mga kapatid.
Ayun.
Hanep. Talagang doon lang natin nakikita no, we really need someone also to represent us as a group.
Exactly.
Yan. And that's where this party list has come from.
Yes, and that party list is what we call the IPs Ipanaw.
Okay.
Tama ba, sir?
Oo nga
So, go ahead, sir.
IPs Ipanaw. The IPs is, a play of word the word IPs, no? But it's an acronym for Indigenous Peoples Advocacy for Cultural Empowerment. And the word, probably is your next question. At niyati pang Ipanaw mo?
Bakit alam niya? Usually
Pangipanam. Baka ako nakikita. But the word Ipanaw is taken from the most or the common spoken language in the IP communities in Mindanao in Visayas, which is Manobo, and it stands for journey. So the word IPs Ipanaw means the journey of the indigenous peoples.
Journey pala siya.
One journey. Nung makita mo na Ipanaw and then for them it's like a journey, kasamot lang parehas na. Mandad-an mo't lang.
Samot lang.
Oy, pero paano nabuo itong party list pala na itong parts?
Actually, nung 2003, the leaders in Mindanao, parang created this group. But they had been fighting for so long, for almost many generations. They think that it's best for them to organize a single unit in Mindanao in 2003. No? In 2010, they tried to run under the name Abante Tribo Makabansa. But they were able to generate maybe I think around 200,000 plus votes only, no, not under the rules of the Comelec back then. It's that it's sufficient to have one seat, no. But understanding that IPs don't have a lot of resources in kabil namin the resources at Tinmarena it's only now that they decided to run again. But when they decided to run again, parang because one of the founding leaders, our chairman in the CIP, mabalimot nga unify to yung amin IPs dito the whole Philippines because we have the same struggles. No? We are trying to protect IPRA, we are trying to protect NCIP. So ako na okay, what we do now is to get representations from all the major areas in the Philippines.
Okay.
So it's no longer limited in Mindanao. Now, our third nominee is from Central Visayas, Coralano. Number 4 nominee is from an Aita, Dumagat Aita from Quezon Province.
Yes.
And another one from Northern Mindanao, Manobo. But our first nominee is Subanen. May kadwa ka nominee tayo kat may isang igorot.
Yun.
Datayo din siya.
Yes.
Datayo. Because of course we have to represent, di ba? Ang lang siya.
So now, as a whole, ikaw nang magre-represent for this party list?
Wala, kasla-kasyemot lang.
Ay.
And talking about party list, sir, kasi marami ding hindi nakakaunawa kung ano ba talaga ang isang party list.
Right.
So,
Right.
what is a party list?
When the 1987 Constitution was being deliberated, they want to equalize the playing fields in politics. There are some sectors that needs to be represented, but they cannot join because they cannot run as governors or senators.
Exactly.
So they said, okay, we create a party list system in order to, number one, political sectors na walang kakayahan, and number two is the marginalized societies. And one of the commonly argued group there or sector there is the indigenous peoples. So, niromorge party list in order for us to have a voice in Congress, so that when we talk about policy, when we talk about dialogue, we are properly and ably represented.
Ay, naman.
So, ti rumward dito imot lang kat kaslamot lang ka sa congressman.
Ay,
Congressman ti IPs.
so this is a chance for every group or party list
Yes.
to have this like representation in the
Way.
Congress.
Yes.
Ay, kaya pala may party list. Now I understand.
Pati yung mga parts natin, naintindihan na rin nila kung
Ngam no, agbutos kayo ate party list kat may sa lang ti ibutos yo.
Uy, na.
Tajay nung senator ngamin kat ikabin mo kat 12, di ba? Ngam na
Uy.
party list, I think there are
May sa lang.
178 right now running.
Wow, madami.
And may sa lang ti shade yo.
Okay.
Kasi
Pang mahirap mamili pag ganun kadami.
Yes. Ay, naman pala. O ngayon, speaking of which, no, kasi dahil dito naman sa pinaglalaban natin, no, dito sa advocacy natin, hindi malayong sabihin natin na maraming mabibigat na kaso ang inyong nahahawakan. Kaya, kamusta naman po yung security ninyo?
Yeah.
my principle when it comes to that is you cannot show the people that you're afraid. Okay? And second is that if you take care of people, the people will take care of you. Okay? Why is this? No, especially ako I have no problem with that. No, but when I go to Mindanao, especially as a spokesperson of NTFL CAC, I do take security nga kumikoy kanyak. No, but my advocacy there number one is I have to go to the area na mahirap pasukin na hindi napapasok ng government. No, na
Pasusulunukan nga
talaga nga. Iya ko na nga red area.
Yes.
Red area.
Because the principle is simple. If you're afraid to go to people to areas like this, then you don't have the right to demand, no, from those people to be courageous, no, in fight for in behalf of the government. You cannot do that kasi sikakat mabutang ka, no. So that's one of my advocates. So every month, no, we select the area na kaslakuta, no, kasati pagkutan ti NPA mapan kami jay i-deliver kami ti basic services. Mapan na COMELEC registration, LTO registration,
Hirap din.
medical mission, mga ganyan. Almost the idea is bring all basic government services to that area. So hadlang NCIP, at DOE, Department of Agriculture, DNR, kasya
Ay,
Kung ikaw ba parts, papayag ka na ganun din.
papayag na ano,
Na
pupunta
pupunta
ako.
sa
Actually,
kasulsulitan.
yan yung mga gusto kong ginagawa kasi adventure yun para sa akin. And new learning din sa akin actually. Just this morning actually, nagkaroon ako ng chat from a friend who is in Mindoro right now. And meron siyang mga friends na mangyan. So sabi ko, sino yung mga kasama mo? And then he told me quite a short story. Sabi niya, etong mga tao, they are indigenous or native dito sa area na to. And parang hindi naman saan natatakot sa mga tao, pero parang nahihiya sila to mingle with new people. Kaya pala ganun yung damit. Na-curious kasi ako, ba't ganyan yung suot mo dyan? And then, he has to blend a bit.
Oo naman.
Ay,
With the IPs din doon. Ay.
ano yung mga encounters niyo po na memorable?
sa mga IPs.
Yes.
sa mga IPs. I think what really strike me the most is the level of poverty present in these areas. I'm sorry to say, but there are IPs like that, and I think that's something that we can help, no? Probably if we are given the opportunity and privilege to do that. There are certain aspect that you see it, no, and you cannot but help feel what they feel, no. So that tayo nga nagapuja garden, at least nga you know, you can feel it and you see it, no. Tapos jay simple lang agitad ka lang ti rice or canned goods.
Okay.
Means so much for them. Kung nadagarod, rarely nga makakanda ti rice, so nga the rice kasa fiestada, no.
Ay.
So dagiti ti something that I don't know if the word inspires the proper word, but probably motivate, no.
Yes.
That I think that all of us IPs have joint responsibility to better our lives together. Kasi.
Yan.
Uy.
And then, Manong, going to that note lang,
Sige.
becoming a lawyer.
Ano nga ni Christina? So nga ako baka Manong, saan ko na nakikdigat.
Kuhan nga yung Manong, syempre, this episode is really inspirational in my own point of view. So,
Yes.
what would you advise nga our aspiring lawyers?
Yeah,
Our
most
aspiring
especially from
lawyers
the
here.
groups of the IPs, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Probably my message is that, and I don't have to say it in a way because it's our cultures that always go back to the community, no? Pay it forward because that's our culture. No, tiyag decision ti may nga IP hana ako na anya ti bagik. Always we say anya ti pagsayatan ti ili. Diba? Anya pagsayatan ti ili. And that probably will be the question if you make the decision. What will be the direction of my career? It will not be what will be the direction of my career, but anya ti nga ti maramid ko nga pagsayatan ti ili.
Wow. I've heard that from ng Japanese din Bushido effect, yung for the common good.
Yan.
Ay, ba?
Para sa lahat. Yan. Hindi lang para sa sarili, parang gano'n.
Yes. Ay, grabe din Hindi ganun. O tanong kita. What can we do?
Well, simple as this.
Yes.
Taraki Talks, right?
Yes,
We
yes.
are giving information to our
This form is
parents.
it's a new platform to show the world and introduce ourselves.
Yes.
Diba? Tako na anya ti igorot. Kaya ito'y kastoy ti kuana. But not necessarily. No kunada kanya ti igorot. Anya ba ti itsura ti igorot kunada. Panaknapan ka ba yung Starbucks? Ada ti tall in white, ada ti latte, ada ti espresso. But I'm sorry to disappoint you. Igorots are like you also. Ada ti napudaw, ada ti hangin napudaw, ada ti dughan nga pa. Unfortunately, we are just also like ordinary people.
Diba?
So you were often asked about that.
One, because di ko na dapat, they don't believe that I'm an igorot. No?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's one thing.
I am a full-blooded igorot. Okay. So, I am a kankanay by blood. But, of course, I tell you that hindi naman lahat ganito igorot, no? Dapat gugwapo. Kung alangan mo ibaga, siyempre. So, the introduction is that we also we are also diverse as you are diverse. No?
Yes.
We come in many forms as you come in many forms. We come in many colors as you come in many colors.
Ay naman.
Basta naman lang nagsabing ka.
Diba?
Same.
Alright.
Yun.
Ngayon naman, aside from IPs, no, now that you're practicing privately, nagkakaroon din tayo ng mga cases na outside IPs.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, at this point, kasi ka-resign ko lang in November, I don't want yung mga land issues da kita usually, but I think I don't have the time yet, no, to handle cases, no. But when I was at the Office of Solicitor General, one of the cases that I handled are the cases in Baguio. Dito yung Wright Park, dito yung Mansion House, no. Da kita dito yung Hugis, something ko dito water reserve versus IP. Kasi lagi na medyo years nga may ako. But lagi siya.
And okay, now dahil nagtitake ka din pala ng ibang cases, can we take this chance naman na to have free consultation? Kasi talagang we took this part na, attorney ang susunod na guest, so nagtanong tayo sa taong bayan.
Pero this one, yung itatanong natin, may twist siya.
Yes. Actually, it has a twist mga parts, so lalo na sa mga nakaka-relate dyan, antayin ninyo kung anong isasagot ng ating attorney ngayon dito sa free consultation natin. Ang galing. Actually, thank you so much sa lahat ng mga nag-message at nag-direct message para sa segment na ito na free consultation with Attorney Marlon.
May ganun. Simulan mo ngayon yan.
Ay, ako, umpisa. Sige. Meron kami na feeling 7. Kinakabahan ako kung tatanong ko ba. Pero tatanungin ko talaga. So, thank you sa naunang sender nito. Pakinggan mo ko anong sagot ni Attorney Marlon. Number 1, sabi niya dito, pwede ko bang kasuhan yung crush ko pag chinachat ko tas sinisin lang niya?
Mabalin.
Anya, hindi ko naman.
Unjust vexation.
Ano yun?
But whether or not you will win is a different issue. Ngam mabaling mga kasuhan, sige kasuhan lang ta. Baka takot handa ka nga, no, di ba, since Sunday ta ko na, no isong mo da, baka kita kayo to personal.
Hindi na since talagang face to face.
No, kangkat, ipabarangay mo.
Barangay first, barangay level.
And anyway, the criteria is winning is different, but filing a case, you can do that.
Filing a case, we can do it. Yeah, but winning is another case.
Okay, next.
Ayan, yung pangalawa naman natin, thank you din sa sender ng pangalawang question na ito. Ayun. So, Manong, pwede ko bang kasuhan yung mga nagpaasa sa akin?
Pwede mo siyang kasuhan, no? There are cases ganito, let me be a little bit serious. Jay, promise to marry. Jay. And then when you made preparation, tapos bigla ka nga nag-appear, no?
Okay.
You can file for damages based on emotional abuse. Dagita nga hangka nakaturog, sleepless night, anxiety. Kasi,
Kasama na yung mga therapy, di ba?
okay, no? So, payment for emotional abuse na jay. Hanggang ka pinaturog, mabalin. Serious anxiety, mabalin.
Uy, mga parts, alam nyo na.
Alam niyo yung mga parts, wag kayo
Always,
magpapaasa.
you can file, but doesn't mean that you will win.
Always you can file, but that doesn't mean na you will win again.
Alright. Pero sa sender nun, thank you so much. At least we have heard something today.
Oo nga.
Yan.
Kaya parts, okay ka lang?
Ano naman? Bakit?
Pwede mong kasuhan.
Wag mga pinapasa, ikaw talaga reverse psychology to.
Good. Number 4 na tayo.
Okay, number 3. Okay, thank you na naman sa nag-send ito. So, pakinggan mo kung anong sagot ni attorney dito. Pwede po ba kasuhan jay tropam nag-ayab ti inom ngam awan ti ambag na?
Actually, mabalin sa amot
Ay!
Asla contractual obligation data eh. There is an implicit when you go, no, shot kayo to. Kailangan mapangkalang enjoy, di ba? Sige. Mabalin lang ta.
Contractual.
Breach of contract siguro.
Breach of contract.
Uy, oo nga, no?
Diba?
Kasi diba, tara, tax pa. Yung mga ganun, nung high school ako, ganun eh, tax pa. Pero pagdating dun, wala, taga-ubos pa ng pulutan yun eh.
Kasi not all contracts in order to be enforced need to be in paper.
Oo.
There could be verbal contracts that could be,
as long as someone could be a witness for that.
Okay, I want to witness na.
Verbal contract.
As long as you can prove that there's a contract.
Ay, uy, mga parts na.
Kakasuhan ko si Brenda.
Bakit?
Kakaya lang ibos ni pulutan, ngamahan nga na bardak.
Uy, inaramid na picnic. Thank you, Manong. Thank you sa sender din natin. Pangapat na? Yes, pangapat na natin. May kaso po ba ang mahilig mag-take out na bisita sa mga kainan, lalo na kung igado at lumpia?
Ala, grabe yung galing mo center.
Mabalin. Tajay lumpia, kinigaduhan mo nga bagi. Tapos inalam in cellophane mo, han mo in pakada. That is theft.
Diba? Oo nga.
May barangay ka dito.
Uy, narinig niya. Mag-ingat-ingat sa mga mahilig mag-take out dyan.
Theft.
Theft. Oh my gosh.
Anya ti kuha na di Jay Manong, nakas parigan na patunayan kang theft. Kat anya ti pinaka-sanction.
Depende ata, dati always fine in imprisonment data eh. So, depende no anya ti EnTako mo, taray mo kasi eh.
Ay, galing ah.
Thank you, Manong.
Nakakaliw naman sa mga sinend na mga senders. Okay, sunod na case, pang-5 na tayo, no? Okay, papakinggan mo to yung nag-send ito. Pwede bang kasuhan kapitbahay na malakas umungol sa oras ng tulugan?
Kung nagkaroon ka unjust vexation,
Ay, bumilik! Sorry!
kahit na nga sa data unjust vexation ngamin kat you were like disturbed, no? Kat you were vexed. If you were vexed, you can file, no? Apay nga kasta. No, apay hangka makaturog kasi disturbing the peace of the community.
Ayun, disturbing the peace of the
Mabalang ka pa yung
community.
nagpati damages. Iso nakaturog, sigakat sleepless night.
Oy, galing. Oy.
Kaya sa mga kapitbahay nyo dyan,
Huwag lakasan ng hilik.
pero bakit ungol yung nasabi mo kanina? Ikaw talaga?
Nagbabasa lang po ako.
Are you
Hindi,
insinuating
kasalanan
something?
mo to. Uy, hindi, nagbabasa lang tayo. Talaga pinagtitipan ako ng ano to ah. Okay.
Next.
Next.
Number
Pinagkikitan
6.
tuloy ako.
Okay. And then yung last para sa'yo, ito ay galing
Yes.
sa isa nating kaibigan na kuwan. Alright.
6.
So number 6 natin, tanungin nyo rin nga, ay, bakit may ganun? Pag nag-promise ba ang jowa mo ng moon and star, pati na rin dagat, ganun. Pero binigay niya kat bagoong at patis. Pwede ba yung kasuhan, Manong?
Mabalin.
Oh.
Because that's almost contractual eh.
Ah,
Ano ko na I promise you the stars in the moon,
Mm.
and you'll answer me yes. And you said yes. Tapos intend na baggoong. That is a breach of contract data.
Ikaw, hindi kita magkakatiwalaan.
Oo, ay.
Oh, breach of contract pa rin yun.
Isama na natin dyan no, yung uhutan. Tapos dodoblihin ko sa susunod. Breach of contract din yun.
Hindi, takot talaga nga ako detan.
And hindi na breach of contract.
Ako deta, anyay awgi. Networking data. Scam data.
Scam. Ay, ganun ba?
Scam na
Scam pala yun.
Tagkati ko, asang gasot kat no next month, nagbalik ka 200.
Too good to be true.
It's too good to be true. It's not true kaya.
Ay.
It's a scam.
Uy, mag-ingat po tayo mga kapatid dyan, lalo na din sa mga IPs natin, lalo na sa mga senior citizens.
Yes.
Ayan, maraming scams, kaya...
One of the hot
ingat
spot
po
of
tayo.
networking scam is sa Kulilieras.
Wingarot. Kasi nalaka tayo nga, ay, sige man.
Padas tayo, barbaro, kasi...
Gusto ba ti reason na di Manong? Or adapt it?
Sometimes when usually nga maintain networking kat people that we know. So we learn to trust even if we don't understand the whole scheme of things.
Yeah.
Kung ano ka kaarubak mo tayo, apay ko mga kastoy, di ba? Yeah. It just so happen in issues like this, kakarpi man dyan teachers tayo, dagita workers tayo.
Oo.
So be careful, no? Be careful.
I feel bad nga dun sa mga na-scam na nilamsam nila yung ano yun, yung
Retirement.
retirement just to invest on some
Or in lako da jay elf.
But anyway, next.
Mag-ingat na lang.
Yes, mag-ingat na lang po tayo. Alright, so ito naman, hi! Sabi na, wag ko siyang i-mention, pero i-mention pa rin kita. Madam Christine, hello!
Hello, Manang Christine. Kumusta ka naman?
May pinagdadaanan nga tapos. Okay, ang tanong niya kasi, pwede bang makasuhan pag namimiss mo yung di mo naman jowa? Ano, napaspisles?
Siguro, kakwa. Kanya, there's a legal principle on that. I just forgot nga ako. I don't know. It's like an impossible obligation nga ako. Nga mabalin, kung nakorta tayo, mabalin mo kasuhan. Kasuhan ba ito? Parang mapansin ta kay. Ngam na mga abak ka, sa paano yung istorya dito?
Ay, naman.
Patay mo tayo, medyo naunag mo check ano? Question na.
Adali hugot na
Oh,
rin.
Labi-labi.
Manang Christine, manood ka po ng episode na ito.
Uy, huwag na tama na. Baka i-bash niya ako mamaya. Ay,
Ayun.
naman. Thank you so much po talaga. Uy, marami pa sana pero yun na lang.
Yun lang muna.
Ayan. And thank you so much for being a game and sport for this free consultation parts, no? Thank you so much, Parts. Marlon.
Grabe mo, saan kayo mga kuha dyan? Free consultation nga na dyan. Awan bayad na dyan. So dyan answer namot lang kat kasi awan bayad na.
Gas Jai. Uy, mayo ada pa iti ko. Ada pa iti may sangakon nga pag games ti Taraki
Ay,
TV.
oo naman. We call it 5 words.
Yup.
Yes. At syempre, uumpisahan natin yan. Okay. Paano ba? Bibigyan ka namin ng 5 words.
Uh-oh.
Then, you associate, tama ba?
Okay.
Paki-explain naman.
5 words tapos i-associate nyo na lang siya ng isang word din or phrase. But there would be no explanations.
Okay.
Gas Jai. Alright. So mga parts natin, simulan natin sa isang libro.
Okay.
Book.
Yes, sir.
Wait. So,
You give
Ah,
an
you're-
equivalent
Yes.
term for that.
so you're not giving me a title of a book or something?
No,
Yeah.
just general.
Just general.
Okay.
Although book na lang, sir.
Hindi,
para sa-
book
Oh,
cross
sige.
knowledge.
Ayun,
Knowledge. Okay. Next, IPs.
Moving forward, moving upwards.
Mhm. Next one naman natin, law.
Justice.
Ay. Fourth word, journey.
Correction of historical injustice.
Oh.
This is quite, especially that word journey, kasi that's the foundation of our party list, no?
Paano?
Correction of historical injustice.
Oy.
I know you said no explanation, but you know,
We have to.
thank you for the opportunity. Nonetheless.
Yes, it's fine.
Alright. And finally, our favorite word naman ito. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
Taraki.
Igorot.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, thank you so much
Thank you,
once
thank you.
again, Manong Marlon. Baka may gusto din po pala kayong i-plug. Page, something like that.
Or events.
Yes, I'm not going to plug probably in events, but probably a simple message to all our Kailians, no? Sometimes we do not see things the way they seem to be. But I think that being part of the community, there's also an obligation on us, no, to better the place, no, where we are, or other place that we should be, no. So I hope that you will be part of our journey in making the indigenous peoples proud, in making the indigenous peoples better, and in making the indigenous people part of the national discourse.
Oh.
So, yun.
Alright, huling hirit na lang po, attorney, no? Okay lang po ba?
Yeah, sure.
May pinapakonsult dito.
Isa
Kaya
pang
nagbigla
consultation.
ako ng gulo kanina. Parang importante yatang talagang tanungin ko.
Sige nga. Tingnan natin kung ano yan.
sabi nung sender, talagang ilang ulit pa eh. Joke. Pakitanong kung may bumili ng lote na isang public land kat sa next generation kat ilaban ti ancestral claims. Ti may isang IP. Kas ano ka nun siya?
Depende noon yung klase ng public land. Because if it's a public land that was already titled under our tolling system, for example, awan tilaban tayo. But it's a public land that could be claimed by the IP because we have the right to claim public lands. Mabalin dalan nga ilaban. So depende noon yung klase na, or is it covered by a proclamation or it's not covered by a proclamation, dagit ano. So but the answer could be yes, the answer could be no.
Oh, okay. Depends on the premise karon.
Yes, depende noon yung klase ng public land.
Alright,
I
thank
hope
you
sa
so
sender,
much.
nalawlawagan kisuna.
Yan. At to know more or para mag-inquire, punta rin siya sa office ng NCIP.
Yes.
Alright, so I hope marami tayong aral na natutunan doon aside from lahat ng mga free consultation natin and about IPs, yan, lahat, lalo na sa mga issues natin tungkol sa mga IPs.
Right.
Yes, and about the party list as well. Thank you so much at thank you sa inyong panunood at walang sawang suporta sa Taraki Talks.
Yun nga, ang tumatak sa akin ngayong araw na ito ay yung nullity.
Oh.
Nakasali ang government doon.
Nako Bakit?
And of course, aside from that, yun din naman sa rights ng IPs natin, our indigenous people.
Ayan naman.
Dahil dyan, maraming salamat ulit sa ating guest, Manong Marlon.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Kabsat. Thank you, Kabsat. Dagito yung taga-atok yung taga-kibungan nga dagito yung...
Medyo manggayong-gang din po mamaya.
Ang ganat liman. Ang malilingutan ang
Hour. Naka-quote ka pa lang.
But anyway, I hope you like, comment, and share this video and of course this page.
Yes.
Ayan, Taraki TV. And continue supporting more from our guests in the next episodes po. This has been your Parts Digo.
And this has been your Parts Kent for
Taraki
Talks.
See you.
Bye! See you!